Hi there, it's Jennifer. Did you know that tests can be tools? Let's use a grammar quiz on reported speech to find out what you know and what you need to practice. Answer 20 questions. I'll help you along the way by explaining the correct answers. Your final score is less important than your overall confidence. Taking this test with me will increase your mastery of grammar, which in turn can empower you to be a confident, effective communicator. 1. Which statement is an example of reported speech? A, B, or C? The answer is B. Why? A and C use direct speech. Direct speech or quoted speech shows the exact words spoken by someone. We use quotation marks to show it's a direct quote. In contrast, reported speech, also called indirect speech, are the words spoken by one person and then they're retold to another. We report the words that were said. In reported speech, some words change. It's about retelling the basic idea. 2. Choose the correct reporting verb. My grandparents would us funny stories from the past. Answer C. Ask, say, and tell are the most common reporting verbs. We use ask for questions. Say is for greetings, polite phrases, and short answers. We say hello. We say goodbye. We say good morning. We say thank you. We say yes or no. Tell is best for facts and pieces of information. We tell stories and jokes. You can tell the truth, or you can tell lies. 3. Choose the correct reporting verb. That I was taking a trip. The answer is A. You don't have to name the person that someone was speaking to, but if you do, there are patterns to follow. Tell someone something. I told my neighbor that I was taking a trip. I told my neighbor my plans. Say something to someone. I said hi to my neighbor. Say something. I said hi. I said that I was taking a trip. 4. Report the original statement. And note, you aren't in Massachusetts for this example. Jennifer is. I am. Jennifer explained, my son isn't here in Massachusetts because he's studying abroad. Answer C. In reported speech, reference words have to change so that the statement is logical. This includes pronouns, possessive adjectives, words like this and these, and time words. For example, I can say my son, but you can't. In reported speech, if you're talking about my family, you need to say her son. I'm also assuming that you're not in Massachusetts, so when I say here, that's not relevant for you. You are far away, so here must change logically to there. Get it? 5. Report the original statement and note that Natalie spoke to Mark 2 weeks ago. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow, Natalie said to Mark. Answer B. First, I changes to she. Tomorrow changes to the next day or the following day. What else changed? The verb. We backshift the verbs in reported speech. We shift one back. The future and present shift to the past. The simple past shifts to the past perfect. The past perfect doesn't shift. Now, some of you observant people will say, but Jennifer, you didn't backshift in the last question. You said the answer was Jennifer explained her son isn't there in Massachusetts because he's studying abroad. Why? Because there are exceptions. If something was just said or is still true, we don't always backshift. 6. Report the original statement. I'm preparing for my spring piano recital, Jennifer said. The answer is A and B. I'm sharing this video in March, and my recital is in June. I'm still preparing, so you don't have to backshift. However, if this video is several years old by the time you watch it, all of this is already in the past. So you can change the present progressive to the past progressive. You don't need to backshift twice. You don't need the past perfect progressive. 7. Report the original statement. I'll celebrate my 60th birthday with a trip, Jennifer announced. Answer: A and B. My 60th birthday is several years from now. When you report a future event that hasn't happened yet, you don't have to backshift the verbs. You can, but it's not necessary. Note that will changes to would when we backshift. 8. Report the original statement. I had never been to Germany, Alex said. The answer is A. Remember that the future and the simple past shift, but the past perfect does not. Had never been doesn't change. 9. Report the original statement. I think you'll find the video useful, the teacher said. Answer A is the best choice. However, B is acceptable if it's immediate reporting. Notice that if the reporting verb is in the present tense, it's likely immediate reporting. If that's the case, we don't have to backshift the verbs. We just change all the reference words. If we backshift, notice how the present think shifts to the simple past thought. The future will shifts to would. Let's look at other modal verbs and modal-like verbs. 10. Look at this statement with direct speech. Would any of the verbs change? Would any of them backshift in reported speech? Jennifer said, I might take a cruise for my 60th birthday, but I would never go on a big party boat. I should look into an Alaskan cruise since I ought to see glaciers in my lifetime. The answer is no. These modal verbs do not change. Some consider ought to a modal-like verb or a semi-modal, not a real modal verb, but in any case, it does not change in reported speech. So note that might, would, should, and ought to do not change. Jennifer said she might take a cruise for her 60th birthday, but she would never go on a big party boat. She said she should look into an Alaskan cruise since she ought to see glaciers in her lifetime. Reference words changed. 11. Look at this statement with direct speech. Would any of the verbs change in reported speech? You could plan both a cruise and a land tour, suggested a friend. You'd better do some research to find out the best times and prices. I can help. Answer: one verb needs to change. Can shifts to could. Could and had better don't change. A friend suggested that Jennifer could plan both a cruise and a land tour, and that she'd better do some research to find out the best times and prices. The friend said he could help. 12. Look at this statement with direct speech. Would any of the verbs change in reported speech? I may want to visit more than one city in Alaska, Jennifer said. The answer is yes. The modal verb may shifts to might when expressing possibility. Jennifer said she might want to visit more than one city in Alaska. An exception would be a perfect modal, because perfect modals do not change in reported speech. So if someone says, "Oh, I may have forgotten my keys," we don't need to change that perfect modal. May have forgotten stays the same. We only need to change the reference words. He said he may have forgotten his keys. 13. Report this statement. Backshift all verbs if possible. You must tell me if you're going to Alaska, Jennifer. I'll come along if I can afford it, said Bridget. Answer: Bridget told Jennifer that she had to tell her if she was going to Alaska. Bridget said that she would come along if she could afford it. The modal verb must shifts to had to. Again, the modal verb will changes to would, and can changes to could. 14. Report the original statement. If I see a whale, I'll take a picture, Bridget promised. Answer: Bridget promised that if she saw a whale, she would take a picture. With real or likely conditional sentences, we backshift the verbs. 15. Report the original statement. If I were a whale, I'd splash all the whale watchers for fun, Jennifer said. Answer: Jennifer said that if she were a whale, she'd splash all the whale watchers for fun. With unreal conditional sentences, we do not change the verbs. Don't backshift. 16. Report the original statement. The marine biologist explained, if there is a predator, adult male whales swim to protect a mother and her calf. Answer: the marine biologist explained that if there is a predator, adult male whales swim to protect a mother and her calf. With facts and truths, we don't need to backshift. 17. Report the original statement. I asked my friend, "Have you ever seen a whale?" Answer C. When we report yes/no questions, we need to use if or whether. If is more common. Then we need to change the question word order back to statement word order, subject plus verb. 18. Report the original statement. I asked my friend, "Where did you go whale watching?" The answer is A. When we report a WH question, we change all the reference words to make it logical and backshift the verbs where possible. The most important thing to remember is that we're no longer asking a real question, we're reporting one. So we need to use statement word order, subject plus verb. I asked my friend where she had gone whale watching. 19. What was the original statement? Here's the reported speech. A student asked how to gain more practice on this topic. The answer is A. When we have questions that use can, should, or would, we sometimes use infinitives or WH infinitives, like a question word plus infinitive, in the reported speech. A student asked how to gain more practice. The original question, how can I gain more practice? A student asked where to find more exercises. The original question, where should I look for more exercises? A student asked me to make another video. The original question, would you make another video? 20. Report the original statement. Please turn off the lights before you go to bed. I told my daughter. There's more than one way to report this request. We can use tell or another reporting verb. Take a look. Jennifer told her daughter to turn off the lights before she went to bed. Jennifer asked her daughter to turn off the lights before she went to bed. Jennifer reminded her daughter to turn off the lights before she went to bed. In another lesson, we can go over reporting verbs. There are many. You can also look at past lessons I shared on reported speech. So how did you do? As I said, I'm not worried about your final score. I want to know if you learned something new, or if you reviewed old information, do you now feel more confident? Tell me in the comments what you still have doubts about. Here's your final challenge. I want you to report this statement. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? The interviewer asked Jennifer. Jennifer responded, if I continue to enjoy good health, I'll still be making videos. I may have gray hair by then, but I could never give up teaching. If you'd like more practice on advanced grammar topics, join me on Patreon, where we practice all skills for confident, effective communication. The link is in the video description. That's all for now. Thanks for watching and happy studies.